Sister Wives star Kody Brown considered walking away from wife Robyn. "I was so broken." Kody Brown, once the proud patriarch of the Brown family's sprawling polygamous dynasty, is revealing a staggering truth that few fans saw coming. In a stunning and emotional confession, the Sister Wives star has admitted that during one of the darkest chapters of his life, he seriously contemplated leaving Robyn Brown, the wife once believed to be his favorite and final standing partner. The revelation has sent shockwaves through the Sister Wives fanbase, shattering long-held assumptions about the solidity of Kody and Robyn's relationship. In his own words, Kody admitted, "I was so broken, I thought about walking away from Robyn." The admission, raw and vulnerable, marks a turning point not only for Kody personally but for the very foundation of the Sister Wives saga that has captivated audiences for over a decade. For years, viewers watched Kody slowly but surely drift away from his original three wives, Meri, Janelle, and Christine, while Robyn seemingly became the center of his world. Their bond appeared unshakable, their loyalty to one another unmistakable. But behind the scenes, a different story was unfolding, a story of grief, guilt, disillusionment, and heartbreak that nearly cost Kody the last piece of the life he had fought so hard to build. Kody's stunning confession comes at a time when fans are still reeling from the monumental shifts within the Brown family. Christine's public departure, Janelle's growing distance, and Meri's emotional separation left Kody battered and questioning everything he thought he knew about love, family, and himself. The collapse of his once thriving plural family wasn't just a series of personal losses, it was, in many ways, the public unraveling of the life he had spent decades defending. And in the midst of that unraveling stood Robyn, the wife who was supposed to be his safe haven, his partner in rebuilding a future from the ruins of his dreams. But as Kody has now admitted, even Robyn's steadfast presence wasn't enough to shield him from the deep emotional wounds he carried. The idea of leaving Robyn didn't come from a lack of love, he clarified. Rather, it was born from a profound sense of brokenness and a fear that he no longer had anything left to give. "I wasn't myself," Kody revealed. "I had failed at everything I promised to my wives, my children, and even to God. When everything fell apart, I looked at Robyn and thought she deserved better. She deserved a whole man, not the broken, bitter one I had become." His words cut to the heart of the emotional devastation that has marked the Brown family's story over the last several seasons. Kody's relationship with Robyn has always been a flashpoint for controversy among Sister Wives fans. When Robyn joined the family in 2010, she was initially embraced as a fresh, hopeful addition to the clan. But over time, viewers, and even Kody's other wives began to sense a shift. Kody appeared increasingly enraptured by Robyn, spending more time with her and making decisions that seemed to prioritize her happiness above the needs of the wider family. Accusations of favoritism mounted, tensions grew, and the family's once united front began to fracture. Still, through every storm, Kody and Robyn seemed unshakable until now. This admission that Kody, at his lowest point, considered abandoning even Robyn, suggests that the cracks in their relationship run deeper than anyone had realized. It paints a picture of a man not simply struggling with external pressures, but battling an internal war of self-doubt, shame, and emotional exhaustion. Robyn, for her part, has also struggled under the weight of the family's collapse. In past interviews, she has tearfully spoken about feeling isolated and heartbroken as her sister wives left the family one by one. She had dreamed of a life filled with unity, laughter, and shared purpose, a dream that disintegrated in front of her eyes. Still, she remained by Kody's side, even as the family they had envisioned crumbled to dust. According to sources close to the Browns, Robyn was blindsided when Kody confided in her about his feelings of wanting to leave. She was devastated, one insider shared. She had been clinging to the idea that at least she and Kody would survive all of this together. To hear that he was thinking about walking away shattered her. But rather than turning away in anger or hurt, Robyn reportedly responded with compassion, urging Kody to seek help and reminding him of the love they still shared. It wasn't an easy road back from the brink. Kody admitted that for months he wrestled with feelings of inadequacy and despair. Therapy sessions, long soul-searching conversations with Robyn, and time spent reconnecting with some of his children helped him slowly rebuild a sense of purpose. Even now, he admits, the scars from the past will never fully heal. "It's not about being perfect," Kody said. It's about being willing to keep fighting, even when you feel like giving up. Robyn didn't just stay with me, she fought for me. And that made me realize I still had something worth fighting for, too. His voice cracked with emotion as he recounted the moments when Robyn's unwavering support pulled him back from the edge. Kody's confession sheds new light on the tumultuous recent seasons of Sister Wives, explaining the undercurrent of anger, sadness, and desperation that many fans picked up on but couldn't fully understand. His struggles were not just with his wives, but with himself. His anger wasn't simply about betrayal or broken promises, it was rooted in profound personal failure and the terrifying fear that he could lose the last person standing beside him. The fans, of course, have had mixed reactions to Kody's bombshell. Some have expressed sympathy, recognizing the immense pressure and emotional pain he must have endured. Others remain skeptical, accusing Kody of playing the victim after years of favoritism and poor leadership. Social media exploded with debates, as longtime viewers argued about whether Kody deserved forgiveness or whether his confession was simply another chapter in a long saga of self-inflicted wounds. But whatever the public opinion, one thing is clear: Kody Brown is a man forever changed. He is no longer the confident, smiling polygamist proudly showing off his 4 wives on national television. He is a man humbled by loss, broken by the collapse of his dreams, and struggling to redefine what family means after everything he believed in came crashing down. Robyn, too, has been transformed by the ordeal. Though she remains Kody's only legal wife, she no longer speaks with the same innocent optimism that once defined her early appearances on Sister Wives. She is tougher now, more guarded, but perhaps also more real. She knows now that love doesn't guarantee happiness and that sometimes, the hardest battles are fought not against the world, but within your own heart. As Sister Wives continues to chronicle the aftermath of the Brown family's implosion, fans will undoubtedly be watching closely to see how Kody and Robyn navigate this new, uncertain chapter of their lives. Will their love ultimately prove strong enough to weather the storms that nearly tore them apart? Or will the lingering ghosts of the past continue to haunt their future? Here's why Kody Brown is eating his words on Sister Wives. In a stunning turn of events that few could have predicted, Sister Wives patriarch Kody Brown finds himself facing a reckoning years in the making. For so long, he spoke with unwavering certainty, defending his lifestyle, his decisions, and his vision for a large polygamous family united by faith and loyalty. But now, as the remnants of his once sprawling family lie scattered and fractured, Kody is being forced to confront an uncomfortable truth. Much of what he once so confidently declared about marriage, family, and leadership has crumbled before his very eyes. He is eating his words, and the bitter taste of regret lingers. When Sister Wives first premiered over a decade ago, Kody was a man on a mission. Bright-eyed and brimming with enthusiasm, he eagerly welcomed cameras into his home, determined to show the world the beauty and strength of a modern polygamous family. With Meri, Janelle, Christine, and soon after, Robyn by his side, he seemed to embody a chaotic but somehow functioning dream of plural marriage. He spoke passionately about fairness, balance, and the sacred duty of loving multiple women equally. But as the years wore on, cracks began to show. Small tensions, once easily brushed aside, hardened into deep divisions. Promises of equal love were replaced by the painful reality of favoritism. Declarations about unity became hollow as resentment took root. Fans watched with growing discomfort as Kody's words and actions drifted further apart, creating a widening gulf between the family he preached about and the family he actually led. Now, Kody Brown stands in the wreckage of the world he tried to build, grappling with the devastating consequences of choices he once defended so fiercely. He has lost 3 of his wives, Christine, Janelle, and Meri, each departure marked by heartbreak, bitterness, and a profound sense of betrayal. He has strained relationships with several of his children. And even his bond with Robyn, the wife many believed he favored above all others, has been tested under the weight of so much loss and disillusionment. Kody's fall from grace has not been quiet. It has played out in agonizing detail on national television, exposing the raw, painful dissolution of a family once presented as a symbol of hope for alternative lifestyles. The irony is sharp. In trying to prove that polygamy could work, Kody ultimately showcased its most brutal failures. In recent interviews and on the latest episodes of Sister Wives, Kody has begun to voice regrets that stand in stark contrast to his earlier declarations. Gone is the brash, unshakable patriarch who once insisted he could manage the emotional needs of 4 wives and nearly 20 children. In his place is a man haunted by mistakes, acknowledging, sometimes tearfully, that he got it wrong more often than he got it right. One of the most glaring ways Kody is eating his words involves the promises he made about equality among his wives. In the early seasons, he insisted that no wife would be favored, that each would have an equal share of his time, love, and attention. But as fans and even his own family members have pointed out, the reality looked very different. Robyn became the clear center of Kody's world, a shift that Christine, Janelle, and Meri felt deeply and painfully. Christine, in particular, spoke openly about the emotional neglect she endured, eventually concluding that she could no longer stay in a marriage where she was not valued. Her decision to leave shattered the illusion Kody had tried so hard to maintain, and forced him to confront the deep hurt he had caused by failing to live up to his own standards. Another bitter pill for Kody to swallow is his handling of the family's property dreams, particularly the much-hyped Coyote Pass land in Arizona. Kody once spoke grandly about building a communal family compound where all his wives and children could live side by side in harmony. He envisioned large homes, shared spaces, and endless togetherness. But those dreams turned into a logistical nightmare filled with delays, disagreements, and financial strain. The land remains largely undeveloped, a stark reminder of promises made but not kept. As the family fractured, the very idea of a shared homestead became laughable. Instead of uniting the Browns, Coyote Pass became a symbol of their disunity and a glaring example of how Kody's confident words failed to match the reality. Perhaps the most painful realization for Kody, though, involves his role as a father. He once prided himself on being an involved, loving dad, boasting about the close bonds he shared with his many children. But the pandemic exposed the fault lines in those relationships in brutal fashion. Kody's strict COVID-19 protocols, meant to protect Robyn and her children, alienated many of his other kids, who felt abandoned and judged. Garrison and Gabriel, Janelle's sons, became particularly estranged from their father during this time. Their emotional pleas for understanding were met with anger and stubbornness, not compassion. Kody's hardline stance cost him dearly, creating rifts that remain painful and unresolved. Today, he speaks with sorrow about the distance between him and some of his children, admitting that he mishandled the situation and pushed them away when they needed him most. Publicly acknowledging these failures has not been easy for Kody. He has long struggled with pride, often digging in his heels even when it was clear he was wrong. But the collapse of his family has left him little choice but to face the reality that he is not the wise, infallible leader he once fancied himself to be. In a recent confessional, Kody's voice broke as he reflected on the years of tension and heartbreak. "I thought I was doing what was best," he said, his eyes glistening. "I thought I could be everything to everyone. But I wasn't. I let them down." Fans have noticed the shift in Kody's demeanor. The arrogance that once defined him has given way to a quieter, more introspective sorrow. Some viewers have expressed sympathy, recognizing that no one could shoulder the impossible burden Kody placed on himself. Others remain critical, arguing that Kody's failures were the result of selfishness and poor judgment, not just bad luck. Robyn, ever loyal, has stood by Kody's side through it all, but even she has acknowledged that the man she married is not the man he is today. She has tearfully admitted that their shared dream of a big, happy plural family has died, and with it, much of the innocence and hope that once characterized their relationship. The question now is what the future holds for Kody Brown. With the Sister Wives universe forever altered, can he find a way to rebuild a meaningful life from the ashes? Will he repair his relationships with his estranged children? Will he and Robyn find a new way forward, one that acknowledges the painful lessons of the past? Kody's journey of reckoning is far from over. Eating one's words is never easy, especially for a man who spent so long speaking with such certainty. But perhaps, in admitting his failures and facing the consequences of his actions, Kody has finally taken the first steps toward something he long preached but rarely practiced: true humility. The saga of the Browns is, at its core, a story about dreams of love, family, faith, and belonging. Those dreams were beautiful in their ambition, but fragile in their execution. Kody's dreams have largely crumbled, but the story isn't over. Sister Wives Preview. Janelle Brown talks about the day Garrison died. A heavy cloud looms over the Brown family as Sister Wives prepares to share one of its most devastating chapters yet. In an emotional preview that has already left fans heartbroken, Janelle Brown opens up about the unimaginable pain of losing her son, Robert Garrison Brown. The day Garrison died is a moment etched into her heart forever, a moment that changed everything in an instant. And now, for the first time, Janelle is bravely pulling back the curtain on her private sorrow, offering a raw and deeply personal glimpse into the grief that has reshaped her world. From the very first words she speaks in the clip, it is clear that Janelle is carrying a burden heavier than anyone could have imagined. Her voice trembles, her eyes well with unshed tears, and there is a brokenness in her posture that even the strongest walls cannot hide. For years, fans have known Janelle as the calm, pragmatic, and resilient wife, someone who could weather storms with quiet strength. But nothing could have prepared her, or anyone else, for the storm that tore through her life the day she lost her son. In the early moments of the preview, Janelle reflects on the ordinary morning that quickly spiraled into tragedy. She remembers waking up with a sense of normalcy, completely unaware that her world was about to shatter. She recalls how she had sent a few casual texts to Garrison, checking in as she often did, expecting a quick reply or a cheeky response like so many times before. When hours passed and her messages went unanswered, a gnawing sense of dread began to creep in, a mother's instinct whispering that something was terribly wrong. Her recounting of those first few hours is almost too painful to hear. Janelle describes the rising panic, the frantic calls, the desperate need to hear her son's voice. She talks about driving to his home, heart pounding in her chest, trying to will away the fear even as it grew stronger with every mile. She remembers standing at his door, knocking, calling out his name, pleading for him to answer. And then, the door opening to a reality she had prayed she would never face. The details that Janelle shares are heart-wrenching. She spares no emotion as she describes the moment she realized Garrison was gone. The world around her seemed to collapse, sounds becoming distant, her vision narrowing, her body sinking under the weight of unbearable grief. The vibrant, funny, fiercely independent young man she had raised was gone, leaving behind an emptiness that no words could ever truly fill. As the preview unfolds, Janelle reflects not just on the devastating loss of her son, but also on the life he lived. She smiles through tears as she talks about Garrison's passions, his dreams, and his stubborn but kind-hearted nature. She remembers the way he made her laugh, the way he challenged her, the way he loved his siblings fiercely and with a loyalty that was fierce and unbreakable. Her memories are a tapestry of joy and sorrow, woven together by the enduring bond between a mother and her child. One of the most gut-wrenching parts of Janelle's recounting is the guilt that lingers, the endless loop of what ifs that plague her mind. She speaks candidly about wondering if there was something she missed, some sign she should have seen, some word she should have said. She wrestles with the impossible questions that every grieving parent faces, questions that have no answers but demand to be asked all the same. Her honesty is searing, her pain palpable, and it is clear that healing is a journey she is only just beginning. The preview also captures the ripple effects of Garrison's death throughout the Brown family. His siblings are devastated, each grappling with the loss in their own way. Some retreat into silence, others lean on each other for support, but all are united by a shared sense of profound loss. The bonds that once tied the family together are strained by grief, but also, in some ways, strengthened by it. Tragedy has a way of revealing what truly matters, and for the Browns, it has laid bare the deep love that remains, even in the face of unimaginable pain. Kody Brown's reaction to Garrison's death is complicated and layered. In the preview, he is seen struggling with his emotions, visibly broken by the loss of his son. He speaks about regrets, about the missed opportunities to mend fractured relationships, about the harsh words exchanged during the pandemic and the distance that had grown between him and Garrison. His grief is raw, his sorrow mingled with guilt and self-recrimination. It is clear that the wounds between father and son were still open when Garrison passed, and that fact haunts Kody in ways he can barely articulate. Robyn Brown, too, is deeply affected. She breaks down in tears as she talks about Garrison, recalling the fond memories she had of him and the bright future he had